some good deep breaths flow. The muscles starting to relax. Feel how it is to really inflate your lungs as much as possible. Huge, huge breaths in. Just that long, gentle release out. So as we're allowing our body to find this restful place, we begin to connect with our intention for today. The idea today is playing with the archetype of a warrior. So warriors are people who fight for something that they believe in. There's many aspects of our life right now in which you could be a warrior, or even just every couple of years, something big comes up and it feels like we have to fight for it. And so that's kind of that idea that it's like there are causes that are worthy of fighting for. But also, sometimes that warrior archetype is living life in such a way that they don't necessarily release the war. Oftentimes it's like they carry the war with them always, and every little interaction has to be kind of a little hostile. And so what I wanted it to play with was both the strength aspect of the warrior, doing a couple of things, especially toward the beginning, that really work some strength for our body, that work core strength, leg strength, all these goodies, but also taking peaceful moments, just long, slow, gentle stretches. And in those peaceful moments, see if you can allow those muscles that were just worked to completely relax. So in that way, we're not carrying the war with us always. It's there as a tool, as something to access in those moments when it's useful. And also we can put it away. We can find peace inside of us so that we can start to see a little bit more peace outside of us as well. So that's the idea that will get us started. So first and foremost, as we're getting our body moving, let's just take an easy little stretch, the arms to the back wall, the toes pointed nice and far. Just feel the whole body getting in that state of preparation. Good. So then hands circling through the sides, take the knees into the chest. Do a couple of easy little wiggles for the low back. And what we're going to do is start off with our block right away, using it to help us build a little bit of strength. So this very first thing that we're going to do with our block is place the block either in the calf area, just something to remind us to kind of gently squeeze the legs in, or if you want to even reach a little further to the feet, you could place it there. So it's up to you. But this first thing that we're going to do with this gentle squeezing into the block is place the hands on the floor, even kind of scooting the thumbs a little bit under where the hips are. That keeps that low back very solid on the ground. From here, we're taking inhales, lifting this block up right where it is above our body. Exhales, lower down to a certain degree. So it's not enough to lift an arched low back off the ground, but just enough to create some core strength. So take your breath like that. Inhales, lower. Exhales, invite it back in. And choose your difficulty. The further down you go, the harder it is. So don't feel like you have to go all the way. Definitely keep that breath flowing. You're doing okay with this. Let's take another 5. And 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Let the knees bend. Feel how that brings a little bit of more circulation to legs. So arms spread open left and right. This next one, I'm purposely taking it slow. It's gonna be 2 full breath cycles on one side before we switch. So with our first inhale, we tilt our knees partway to one side. That's the whole inhale. Exhale, the legs straighten out to this side. Inhale, re-bend the knees. And then exhale brings us back to the start spot. So it's 2 full breath cycles. Inhale, tilt. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, return. You can go faster or slower as long as you keep that breath cycle. The reason why we're going with that full segmented breath is because that makes us hold in that harder position a bit longer than just straight swinging with momentum. Core strength, very much our warrior side, shows us we are strong, or maybe we're like a warrior in training, we're getting strong. Always fine, especially in this first little segment of class, to take breaks as needed. That's never going to be wrong. But if you're still doing okay with this, let's take another 3 rounds to each side. And eventually just 2. Eventually that last cycle each side. So as you finish the last one, you're back in the center. We'll take a twist. You could leave the block in the calves or the knees. As you take the twist, knees going to left, or you could remove block if you don't want it to be there for this moment. Either way, feel this moment where you get to have a break. It's like so often in our lives, we're such in a high strung state. It's like constant doing, constant action, that even our sleep state is affected. Like our dreams are just as busy and we wake up not really feeling that rested. So let this twist be like a moment of rest, like a moment of sleep that the warrior got to have. Let's begin to lift the knees up, take that twist to the second side. Notice if the breath pace is still going quick. If so, can you consciously let it be just a little bit longer and slower? Let another full breath cycle pass through the system. Good. So then knees lift right back up. We've got 2 more tremendous strengthening things here before a good segment of peace. So with this first one, slip the block back to calves or feet. Basically, the further away, the harder this next one will be. Legs start straight up above our body. And the idea here is we're switching the block back and forth between arms and then legs. So when the arms come up to meet the block, the hands grab the block, and then arms and legs travel away from one another. You choose how low. When you come back up, switch the block back to the legs, and then lower arms and legs away from each other again. Similar to before, you don't have to go super low, especially don't let the low back arch. But just go low enough that you feel those core muscles kind of stretching as they're trying to hold you in steadiness. You're doing awesome. This is good hard work. You're doing okay. Let's do 5 more switches each. Here's 5. And 5. Absolutely trying to go faster, slower. Here's 4. 4. Slightly bent knees is a way to make it easy also. 3. 3. 2. 2. Last each if you're still doing okay. 1. Good work. The knees bend. So the last strengthening thing here with the block is placing the block onto the left thigh, and the left elbow holds the block up. So this left side of our body is actively pushing into the block. So it's not just kind of holding the block, it's pushing into it. And then the right arm and leg stretch away from one another, and then elbow and knee touch with exhale. 9. 8. Take breaks if needed. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Amazing. One last side. Switch block to right side. Already start the pushing into the block. And left arm and leg stretch out. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Amazing work. We did it. So feet rest down on the ground. Let's slide the block under the hips. I recommend probably don't go at the tall height for this one. Choose either medium or small height. Make sure it's under the flat part of the hips, not getting up into the bumpy vertebrae. So sacral area is what we're aiming for. So as you get your shoulders solidly rested down, we're gonna get our legs to float up above the hips from this space. So one knee at a time comes in, and then legs straighten upward. And what I want us to do for a moment is literally shake arms and legs out. Animals, when they've encountered that hard situation, they leave and then they go shake it off. Humans, we kind of don't really do that anymore. By shaking it off, they completely release all those stress hormones from their system. So here by shaking, yeah.
Sorry, that just.
No, that's beautiful. Take it. But here by shaking, just feel like all the tension, all the work we just did, it's like it doesn't have to stay with us, all that war. Take another count of 5.
Feels good, doesn't it?
4.
I do too.
3. 2. If you want one more breath in that. 1. Good. So then hands drop to the floor. Let's slowly get the feet back down. So one knee at a time bends, and then the foot one at a time. Once we're back on the ground, let's open up to a figure X position. So arms are open, legs are open. We're in a little bit of a back bend. If the back bend's too intense, bump the height of the block down one. Good. This is such a vulnerable position. Warriors don't like to be vulnerable. So let yourself feel how in this moment of peace, it's okay to open up our heart space. It's okay to take the adrenaline out, making the digestion work a little better. Long, slow breaths. Good. So from here, start sliding the left heel closer to the midline of the body, midline, the middle of the mat. That'll keep us balanced as we start to take the right knee into the chest as much as it'll go. A bit different being lifted. If hands can grab around the knee or the thigh, that's fine. It is quite different being lifted up on a block, so don't feel like you have to go super deep like normal. But feel especially on the left side that really good stretch on the hip flexors. Those are some of those muscles notorious to hold our tension. This is a moment to stretch. If possible, try to let the leg straighten up to sky just however much you can. It's okay if there's a bit of a bent shape because of just how funky the shape is. Hands could be gripping around thigh if that reach is possible. Take one more deep breath right here. This leg starts to drop down. As it's released on the earth again, find that right heel toward the midline so that the left knee can come in and we're balancing still, not tilting off the block. So if hands can go around the knee, great. Try to pull it in, but also don't let the other heel lift off the ground. We're keeping that side connected to earth, even extending out of it. Maybe try out this leg, see how much the leg can straighten upward. Maybe a grip behind thigh if that reach is possible. Breath gets to flow in. Exhale. This leg starts to drop back down. We're taking that figure X position, just a couple more breaths. Arms and legs spreading open. Beautiful. So we'll start to prepare to remove the block. So the heels work their way closer in. Hips can lift up off the ground, slide the block away, return sacrum and hips to ground. Sometimes it's a little tender at first, so let the hips themselves get some rocking motion going on. So rocking over to the right hip, rocking over to the left hip, kind of massaging that sacral area to remind it where its good, normal flat alignment is. Kind of resetting those bones in a good spot. Good, and then getting the feet about as wide as the mat. Let's take a few good windshield wipers. So all the way exaggerated to one side and to the other. The next time the knees stay over to the left, pause there. you ever want to take left ankle and rest it on the right side, that's fine. Sometimes that's a little too much for the knees, so you don't have to take it. The foot lifted up, drop it down. Take 3 sets of windshield wiper. Going to right, left, and then stay at the right side. Maybe ankle comes up, resting on left thigh, maybe not. Only if that feels useful and doesn't bug the knees. One more deep breath into belly. An easy release. And a few bonus windshield wipers, just helping everything feel good. You're satisfied. Let the feet be planted, knees are closer together now. In fact, knees are touching, thighs are touching. So with knees glued together, the right leg sticks out. So it's up at a kind of a high angle since the knees are stuck together. This next one will, we're trying to lift up like a crunch as much as possible. We start off with the arms reaching up overhead while we take an inhale. The arms flat through the side, and we try to split as much of our vertebrae off the ground as possible and return back down, inhale. Good, let's take another 4. And back down. 3, it's okay if it's just the shoulders that are starting to lift. Here's 2. Sometimes it's like, almost like a boat pose. Last one. Good. Drop this right foot down. Left leg extends out. Take 5 from there, inhale. So sweep up as much as you can, 5. 4. Good. 3. 2. And 1. Good. As the foot plants back to earth, we're going to add in one last aspect. This one's a challenge, so not everybody will be able to get to the full thing, but this one's like a teaser. You could grab thighs to make it easier, but the idea is the arms are in the same spot as we do that exhale. Now both legs stretch out, and we're trying to fill up as much as we can toward boat pose. So it might be just a half boat and back down. So again, it's just shoulders, and that's fine, or all the way lift. 4. Good. 3, a half boat is beautiful. Good. And down. 2 more. Good. And for this last one, whatever you need to do to get up into a boat pose, come up and balance. Good. We're taking a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees go wide, grab the ankles, set it into an easy cobbler pose. So then relaxing up and over, feel that peaceful moment again. Roll our spine up, grab onto your right knee, flip your right knee over to the left, and hands continue to plant behind you on that left side. Keep that spine open. I love this one for how low it gets in the back. Flip back open to second side, so left knee to right. Hands plant that behind you to that right side. That's a little final twist. Good. Rotating back open. Just 2 or 3 more breaths, cobbler. We come up, swing our legs underneath our body, kneeling. We'll start to take a couple of our cat cows. Allow the spine to really reach up to sky. And belly drops down, gaze up. Feel the sacrum, the hips, the spine so alive. One more deep cycle each direction. Good. From a nice neutral spine, walk the hands forward. We're either taking kneeling plank where the toes lift and we're trying to stay in a straight line from knees to shoulders, or tuck the toes, lift up the knees for a full plank. Either way, let's take a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly bend elbows, lowering belly to ground. Slide the elbows underneath Sphinx. Feel the heart get pulled through, belly stretch. Plant under shoulders, press our way up. Again, plank or kneeling plank. This time, right hand touches left shoulder. Left hand touches right shoulder. Try to go for 9. You can always take breaks if needed. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Lowering hips down, deeper cobra now. Leave the toes untucked for a moment. Good. Child pose or down dog. This is a spot you can stay a couple more breaths, or at any point work your way up to top of mat. Also take block up to top of mat with you. So sooner or later, when you're up here at the top of the mat, let the knees be a little bit bent today, so nothing forceful through the legs. And the block right in front of you, the idea is trying to get the crown of the head to aim onto the block. Most likely, if we're anywhere close to it, we'll have to stack 2 fists or something like that together to create more space. With the knees bent, it also allows us to get a bit closer. But the idea is, even if your head doesn't touch, by us trying to aim the crown of the head toward the block, it creates a little bit more space than might have been there before. If this is an easy touch onto the block, change the block height. That's nothing wrong with that. Make it so that your spine's having to stretch just a little bit. Good. The deep breath flows in and out. Soft bending to the knees. We're rolling up. Circle our arms clear to sky. And right hand drops to our right thigh. Left leans up and over. And switch it out. Beautiful. So coming back up, we're setting up for Malasana. So step the feet about as wide as mat. If you want the block to sit on, that's one version of Malasana. If you'd prefer to come down just on your own, that's fine as well. Yogic squat, help the elbows push into the thighs. Try to allow spine to go a little bit longer. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Those fingers start to drop down. Lift the hips up enough that the right foot can slide to the back of the mat. Lower that right knee down. So from this nice deep lunge shape, we're going to start lifting up the back toes and try not to crunch so much that you're getting a little, thing going on right in that hamstring. But some of us might just be here. Some of us might be taking the left hand to those back toes. If you get that hand to the foot, continue to invite the foot closer and closer to the glute. So no matter what we're doing, we're getting the quad really nice. More breath. Soft release of those toes back down. Hips shift over the back knee. As this left leg tries to straighten, it's a bit wider than normal. That's okay. It doesn't have to go all the way straight either, by the way. What we're trying to aim for is, with any amount of bend to the knee, we're trying to lengthen the spine straight and then walk the fingers as far as you can past the toes if possible. So it's more of that length through spine and a bit of a good hamstring stretch. Breath in and out. Start to slide this leg back. We're taking a plank position. We're gonna try to do Spider-Man with this one. So right knee comes up to right elbow, left knee to left. It's 9 and 9. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Child pose, down dog or a flow. Beautiful. So now we're aiming the right foot to the outside of right hand. Back knee drops down, hips sink forward. Get the hips really established in that sinking action. Without any sort of Charlie horse, start to lift the back toes. Sometimes just staying here is where we're at. Sometimes the right hand can reach back and grab. If you grab, continue to pull toes closer and closer. Breath in. Exhale, soft release. Hips go over the back knee. This front leg is any degree of straight or slightly bent, but spine is really lengthening to allow fingers to walk forward past toes. Turn that leg back. Let's try for another 10 of those Spider-Man. Up to plank. And here is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Child pose, down dog or flow. This is one kind of like before where you can stay in whatever you're doing or eventually come up to the top of the mat, trying to aim the crown of the head toward the block. The amount of stacked fist or palms is fine. Knees can absolutely be a little bit bent. That drops the belly closer to the thighs. More breath. Go in. Out. Soft bending of the knees to roll up, circle up, hands to heart. Good. So standing on left foot, this right knee tries to float up in front of us, balancing. And kick back any type of warrior three. Balanced arms, hands at heart, any even hands to block is fine. Back up. This is 3. Try to get the toes to not ever have to touch the ground if possible. Get back 2. And return. Last one. Good. And a bonus so we can land in warrior 1. Back to stop, softly step. Arms sweep up to the sky. Try to get the palms to touch and the hands trace a couple of inches backwards. Inhale. Exhale, open up warrior 2. Straightening the front leg, we'll take it to triangle. Reach the left hand forward. Left hand to shin, right hand up to sky. And as we rise up, slide the block in front of you. We're turning to the long edge of the mat and trying to take this wide angle forward fold again with front of head aiming for the block. It's super easy. Change the height of the block, even adding palms or fists. If head is even touching floor, walk the feet a little closer so that your spine has something to reach long toward. Softly bend the knees. As we roll up, our front toes turn forward. We're aiming for half moon pose. If you're using a block, The block is in the left hand. The block aims wider than the foot. Even hand goes wider than the foot. Shoulder and hip stack, lifting. Good. Soft land at top of mat. The knees can be a little bit bent as the crown of head tries to aim down to block. Knees are soft, rolling up. Circle arms to sky, hands to heart. Starting that second side right away, stand on right foot, left knee comes up. Take back warrior, 3, 3. And turn up, try to not to explore if possible, 2. That. Last one. And then that little bonus to do the full step through. Just reach up to sky, palms touch, trace the fingers back just a little bit. Huge inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Straighten front leg, triangle, right hand reaches forward. Drop hand to shin, left to sky. Coming up. One more wide angle, turn the toes to the long edge. Maybe grab that block so the crown of head can try to inch its way down. If nothing else, feel the spine, just trying to have that little bit of extra length because it's reaching for something. One more breath. Softly bend the knees to roll up. If you're using block, grab your block in your right hand. Front toes turn forward. Either way, block or just hand aims to that outside angle of right foot. Stack hips, stack shoulders. Beautiful. Dropping down at top of the mat. One last time, aiming the head and the crown all the way toward that block. Anything stacked to help if needed. Inhale. Nice exhale. Scooting the block a little bit further back in case we need access in a moment. Take the hands up the shins, a nice calf lift. Hands planting down. Last option is we slide the feet back for child pose down to Agora flow. Let's all soften knees onto the mat. So our right toes slide to the back of the mat, preparing for a right calf stretch. So some of us can get into that calf stretch with just a little bit of pressing that heel back. Some of us have to lift up the other knee. We're pressing so far. So the shape doesn't matter so much as the sensation you feel in that right calf. One more inhale. Exhale, left knee is down. The right knee crosses behind the left knee. The knees on the ground. The toes swivel open to each side. And all we're going to do is start sinking a little bit of weight backward until we feel our hips and the outer thighs stretching. So some of us might be here almost at the beginning, just sinking our hips back a little bit. Some of us might get low enough to the point where you can sit onto a block right behind you. Some of us might go all the way to the point where you can set the sitting bones onto the ground, in which case continue to lean forward. So take any variation just to the point where you're in the stretch. Don't feel like you're forcing anything. Being high, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Take one more breath in. Doubt. Any amount of pressing forward to get us back up to knees. Uncross the knees. Then we've got that left calf stretch. So left toe slide to the back. Do any pressing back so you can feel that calf. One more breath here. Exhale, right knee is down, left knee crosses behind, aiming for the floor. Same thing, toe swivel open. Any amount of traveling back is fine. It's where you feel the sensation. So it could be nice and high, it could be sitting on a block, it could be scooting all the way down, sitting bones on floor, and then leaning forward. Just go with the sensation. Nothing bad, nothing painful, but definite kind of aliveness in the hips and legs. More breaths here. After that second exhale, if you're high up, come forward and then readjust to sit on the ground. If your sitting bones are on the ground, just swing the legs forward. So again, this is a spot where the knees don't have to be straight at all, but let your spine have one last chance, just releasing forward, kind of aiming crown of the head to the mirror direction. Nice and soft, feel that length through the spine. Just a couple more breaths right in this beautiful soft spot. You're welcome to stay here a bit longer. If there's other stretches you'd love to take before Shavasana, you're welcome to head back maybe onto your spine or up to some seated last stretches. This is a chance just to get those final things to help our body be really happy for our final release. Never a rush to get anywhere in class. It's all just a game of listening. So if you're still moving, amazing, keep doing it. If you're getting about to that point of Shavasana, great, start to settle down. But when you are finally ready to be in that restful Shavasana state, let's allow ourselves to really consciously come to the moment of peace. It's like in our class today, we came right up to that war multiple times. It was like we were fighting for something really powerful, really strong. And we've had moments of peace in the class as well, but this is that big, ultimate, beautiful peace. So let yourself just breathe and be in the peace finally. Help your body know it doesn't have to fight always. It's okay to have these moments of rest, relaxation, and just beautiful peace. here, begin to deepen the inhales. Exhales. Start to introduce little movements back to fingers and toes. Ankles and wrists. Stretching out in ways that feel really good. Perhaps some of us want to take a fetal position. If so, just roll over comfortably to one side. Allowing some bonus good deep breaths to flow through the system. Even in staying here, enjoying this, another 4 or 5 slow deep breaths if you wish. When the body's ready to rise, we come up to a seated place, joining hands together in front of the heart. Here we feel strong, like the warrior. And yet we recognize we don't have to be in war all the time. War doesn't have to be inside of us 24/7. It's okay and it's safe to enter into these moments of peace, release, even surrender. So with this kind of peace prevailing inside of us, to hopefully leak outside of us as well, with this peace to lead us on, let's wrap up the time that we got to share together with a sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.